Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Gabe.
And we are
the Theme Park Duo.
Oh, I forgot.
Are you still rusty? Are you rusty?
Yeah, I am.
You're still getting used to it? Still getting the blood flowing?
Yeah, I'm not in podcast mode for 2019.
No, you're not. But you were also sick.
I am sick. I'm delirious. I have a fever right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, we are the Theme Park Duo.
Makes for interesting podcasting, is what it does. Yes, welcome to episode 2 of season 3. Hopefully you enjoyed our season opener for season 3 with Disney legend Rolly Crump. If you haven't listened to that, make sure you go back and listen to the episode. It was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, you had to leave halfway through because Aaron started crying.
Yeah.
But
I loved listening to it.
You did get to hear half of it while you were here.
Yes.
So, yeah, it worked out well. Sorry for the quality of the interview, guys. I know that we strive for, quality audio for the show. I just had no other way of getting him to record, so that's on us completely. So I'll make sure to try to do some better when it comes to the interviews and that kind of stuff. I'm sure it was fine.
It's not about the quality of the audio. It's about the content.
That's true.
The content was quality.
That's true.
Yes.
The content was quality, but the quality was not content? No, that doesn't work that way. No, that's not how that works.
Who's the delirious one?
You! Anyway, welcome to this episode. As you can tell by the title, the topic of this episode is our top 5 favorite themed lands. And this can be at any parks, anywhere. Yeah. Whatever we want. So, Nikki and I both have separate lists, and I always find this really interesting because we inevitably have some crossover, but the crossover is interesting because we usually have different points of view of the reasons why.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear what you have on your list. I feel like you know me well enough to know what I like and what I don't like.
You know a few of mine.
What I talk about, what I don't talk about. I know 2 of yours.
Yes, you do.
For sure I know 2 of yours. And they both involve a little annoying boy with glasses with a scar on his forehead. Anyway, moving forward. Spoilers, just like River Song would say.
Is there a Doctor Who themed land? I'm not there. Two of my things on my list have asterisks.
I don't even know what that means. You said that to me earlier.
It just means
you just confused me.
It just means like there's a... It's like there's a clause.
There's a hitch in your giddy up.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a hitch in my giddy up. But we'll get to them. I'll explain what I mean when we get to them.
Yes, Let's do that. We're not going to be doing news today, but one piece of information that we would like to share with everybody, which you might have heard of depending on whose show you listen to first. But if you know of the show, the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, you would know that we are very good friends with them, and we are doing a somewhat of a partnership, co-helping out situation now.
Yeah.
So you're going to be seeing a lot more of their posts on our website, and vice versa. You'll be seeing our posts on their website as well. You'll be hearing more from them on our show. You'll probably be hearing more from us on their show. So we're going to be doing a lot more of crossover stuff with them and working together on a lot of really fun stuff in the future.
We're going international.
International.
Well, not really, because...
Lee and Tracy are international. Nobody else is.
Well, the show isn't because the show's about a Florida theme park, but their lovely British accents are international.
You went there, I didn't go there.
What? Where did I go?
Europe.
I have been to Europe and you haven't.
That's true.
Yeah. But not England. I went to Ireland.
Yeah, that's
close
true.
enough.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah. It's very close.
You're trying real hard to defend that statement.
No, it is very close.
I'm not saying it's not close, but they're 2 separate places.
You could get to England from Ireland faster than you could get to the Grand Canyon from LA. So? It's close.
Okay, fine, whatever. I'm not going to get into a geographical argument on a theme park podcast.
Too late.
That is true. Anyway, if you don't know who Lee and Tracy, Darren and Chris are, they are the wonderful hosts of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. They cover everything Universal Orlando. When it comes to events, they cover the events. They talk about the news. They even have really great interviews with people from Universal Orlando, like Mike Aiello. It's just such a quality show, and I listen to it every single episode. Every time they drop an episode, I listen, and I love their perspective on the news that comes out from there. And I know that Lee and Tracy don't get to go that often, obviously, because we just had the conversation. They don't live in the United States.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the passion for the content is there. When you have the passion for the content's usually really freaking good.
Yes.
And that's what it is. Their content is really, really good. And we can't be any more happier to be partnering up with some really awesome people like them.
Super excited.
So you'll be hearing a lot more from them. You'll be seeing us over there, or hearing from us over there, and a lot more stuff like that. So stay tuned on that fun information. We're taking our relationship to the next level, Nikki.
Uh-oh, it's getting serious.
Not like that, weirdo.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I guess that was in my own head.
It was in your own head.
Anyway, exciting news. But moving forward, let's jump into the main topic of today. Let's talk a little bit about our top 5 favorite lands. Nikki, would you want to go first, or would you like to go second?
I would like to go first.
Okay.
Okay.
What is your number 5?
Are these in order?
Try to keep
Ascending
it in
order?
somewhat order.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a little exciting to get to number 1, like what your number 1 is. You know what I mean?
So this is one of my lands, and this is one of the ones with an asterisk by it. It means there's a clause, and the clause is.
Is it the Santa Claus?
No, the clause is that
I know him.
It no longer exists.
Oh.
So it's a Bug's Land.
Because
I loved A Bug's Land. I loved going in there and feeling like you're so teeny tiny because of all the decorations, and the big clovers, and you really felt really small, and just the detail, like that the lights were string Christmas lights, the seats were leaves, just every
popsicle sticks,
the pencils, like every detail was so thought out, and I just loved it.
Yeah, eat your heart out, Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, I do agree. Like it was a really great land, and they had a lot of the Toy Story Land aspects to it that we now see over there. Like you said, you all the lights around the area were pencils, like with the erasers, and it would say number 2 on it. The benches were made out of the popsicle sticks. The bathroom was a giant Kleenex box.
Yeah.
The entrance to the area, what you walked through a cereal box that looked like it was all cut up.
Yeah.
And what was really neat when it was actually Tower of Terror was that it almost, like, from a weird perspective point of view, made you feel like you were on the front lawn of the Tower of Terror.
It really did.
It was really interesting how that worked, and I actually really enjoyed the land as well.
And even just the fact that they had a water area, it was like
the giant hose, it would spray water out and everything.
It was like you could really bring your kid there and stay for a while.
Exactly.
I really liked it.
Which, speaking of kids, Erin was asleep while we were recording, and she woke up, and now she's in the room with us.
Say hello, Erin. I hope everyone in their car was like, hello, Erin.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. She smiles. She's super excited.
Yay.
So yeah, if you hear her in the background, that's the reason why there's weird noises in the background.
This is our podcast now.
Hopefully, it's not distracting.
No, I think it'll be okay.
Okay, that was a good number. That was a good number 5. That was a good one to start.
Thank you.
That was not expected.
We never said anything about them needing to be current.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. So I'm actually proud of you for that one.
Yay.
So my number 5 is Marvel Superhero Island at Islands of Adventure.
Oh, I knew that one was going to be on yours.
To me, it's one of the coolest lands. I grew up with all those old comics. My dad was such a huge comic book nerd, and he made sure to educate me on it. So when I went there, all I thought of was my dad. And just seeing the 2D cutouts of all the characters that I learned about from the comic books. And even with having incredible rides like the Incredible Hulk roller coaster, or even the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, the ride that I had man tears on.
Yeah, just
man
a
tears.
few.
Just man tears.
Just photo
It was
evidence.
sweat. I was just sweating. That's all it was. I loved everything about the land. I love the energy of the land. You have Dr. Doom's Fearfall, I believe it's called. We didn't get to write it. We made fun of it, though. Because the little twirly fans look like booby spinners, like little nipple twirlers.
Yeah, they did a bit. Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just the placement on them. But overall, I just love the environment. I love the old school X-Men characters walking around. You get to see Wolverine and Cyclops and Rogue. And you even get to meet like Doctor Doom, and you get to meet, the Green Goblin. Just all the characters. To me, is just so much fun. And we actually got to spend time there.
We
which
did.
Was nice.
Yeah, we lingered there for sure because it really was an impressive area.
Yeah, we had a pretzel off to the side.
We did.
Checked out the arcade and all that stuff. So I really, really enjoy that land, and I wish I get to experience it more often because it's just that type of environment that I'd love to just sit in and just watch.
Yeah.
Because kids love like cartoons. Kids love the comic books, and just to see kids' eyes when you hear the Hulk roller coaster roar out of its tunnel, and kids look up and like either out of excitement or fear of that ride.
Yeah.
To me is really interesting, and really fun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's my number 5. Do you disagree or do you agree?
She's just mad that she hasn't been there yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Soon. We'll let you ride the Hulk roller coaster on your own.
Okay, so my number 4 is another asterisk one.
These are frustrating because I don't understand what that means.
It's like there's. Do you really not know what it means?
No, I know what it means.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just frustrated because I like easy. And to me, I can't predict it.
This is this asterisk is because I haven't been there yet, but I know if I have been there, I would like it.
That doesn't count.
It does.
I'll let it count. That's
it
fine.
does. I've seen pictures. I've seen videos.
Okay, fine.
It's Pandora.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'll love it.
Oh yeah, you love the environment. You love all the floating rocks and everything. Yeah, you dig that place, especially
it from
at
afar.
night. We saw it unfinished,
but it had like paint on the rocks and like reeds and stuff like the greenery on it and stuff. So I saw it from afar and I liked it.
True.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's
not too much
4.
to say about that one.
No,
since
because I haven't been there, but it is my number 4 because I think it's really impressive from the videos and stuff I've seen, and it's like I feel like it's unfair not to include it because if we had been there, it would be on the list.
I don't know.
I think it'd be on my list.
I don't know because it's hard for me because I really, in order to really fully get an opinion on a place,
You have to go.
I have to go. I need to envelop myself, like completely, immerse myself in that type of environment. And if it's Pandora, I need to be in Pandora. I need to have the food. I need to have the drink, go on the rides, sit in the environment, listen to the sounds, and just see how I feel when I'm in that land. And for me, when I'm putting things on my list, and which your list is your list, and I'm not judging you for it.
You are so judgmental.
I'm not, I swear. For me, the things on my list, it really is how these lands make me feel.
Yeah.
That was the justification for being on my list. That was my thought process for making my list. How do these lands affect me emotionally?
Well, then maybe I want to take Pandora off my list. Bless you, Aaron.
Bless you. No, you don't have to take it off.
My list.
No, you don't have to take it off. It's fine.
You made me feel bad.
No, you don't have to feel bad. If you know you're going to like it, then you know you're going to like it. That's all that matters. And I know you'd like it. For me, my list is the places that are going to emotionally affect me like that. Because those are the best kinds of places.
Okay.
So.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is...
Sorry.
Aaron has a fistful of hair.
It hurts a lot. Okay, you can keep on going.
My number 4 is Diagon Alley.
That's your number 4?
Yes, it is. Don't look at me like that.
Well, we're going to talk about it right now.
Yeah, clearly she has things to say.
And I guess I have things to say now, too, because that is my number...
No, you don't tell me the number. I don't want to know your numbers.
But you're going to know...
No. I don't want to know your numbers. That's the whole point of this whole process.
But you're going to know my number. But we will have already talked about it, so I might as well just say that it's my number 1.
No, if it's your number 1, I want to wait to hear the reasons why why it's important to you and why it affects you in that manner. That's
so we're
going
to talk about it twice? Why can't you just talk about it as your number 4 and I can talk about it as my number 1 at the same time?
Fine.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's your number 1. So for me, I put Diagon Alley at 4 is because for me it's hard because in comparison to the other ones that I have on my list, it doesn't affect me as much. And for me, having visited Diagon Alley 3 times in the visit that we were there, and each time we were there multiple hours, I thought the attraction that was there was very, very well done. I don't think it's as good as Forbidden Journey, which we disagree on.
We also disagree on, but we're not comparing rides right now.
No, but it's also it's everything that includes into the land, like its themed area, what makes it a land.
Yeah.
So the rides do count. So that's my thought in this is although I appreciate Escape from Gringotts and I appreciate the dragon, for me it doesn't affect me as much emotionally as other lands. I think this beat out Marvel Superhero Island just from the dorky standpoint of things of, oh my god, we're in Nocturne Alley and this is where all the Death Eaters go. Oh my god, Marvel Superhero Island doesn't have a giant dragon breathing fire every now and again. Like, that's awesome. There's a lot of really cool aspects in the little itty bitty shops, and even the area and the shop that you can go into to give Muggle money for.
Okay, I'm really mad at you.
You're really mad at me?
Yeah.
Why are you mad at me?
Because you stole my freaking thunder. Because literally everything that you're saying right now is my reasons for why it's my number 1.
So you tell me, why is it your number 1?
No, I'm really mad.
Just tell me why it's your number 1.
Like,
just
I
keep
am
going.
so mad.
Just go.
No, because you stole my thunder. Like,
I did
literally,
not. Your thunder is your thunder. My thunder is my thunder. There's different thunders. Yes. So explain to me why you like it so much. Because honestly, like, the reasons why I like it so much can differ between me and you. And clearly the reasons why I like it aren't enough to make it a number 1.
Yeah.
The reasons why you like it are clearly enough to make it a number 1. Why is it enough? What makes it above and beyond anything else you've ever experienced? Why? Like, why is that reason? Like, what is the reason?
It's just so overwhelming. Like, and I know I'm coming from a standpoint of I'm much more of a Harry Potter fan than you are.
See, for me, I'm just the films. You're the book and the films.
Books since childhood, read multiple times, and the films, anxiously awaiting their releases, going to midnight book releases. Like, I've lived and breathed
Nerd alert.
Okay, I am going to walk out of this room.
I'm a nerd too. Look at this room.
You need to pick when to tease me and when not to tease me. I'm very emotional right now.
My bad. Bad timing.
Stealing my thunder and then stepping on my face with your boot.
I don't wear boots.
I don't know.
Barefoot.
I don't know why I used that analogy. But so living and breathing this and getting Hogsmeade and, knowing that, like, the back of my hand and just seeing everything, the pictures and the videos of Diagon Alley and just the anticipation of waiting to go to it and then finally being there and having my wildest dreams just blown away. It's like unimaginable. Like, just the amount of detail. Every shop I went into, every corner I turned, there was more to see. And I know that, even in the trips that we went, the hours and hours we spent there, we still haven't seen it all. There's so much to explore, so many new fun things to find every time you go there.
Nooks and crannies.
Yeah, it's just astonishing. And yes, I was going to point out the fact, like, where else can you go and exchange Muggle money for wizard money? And where else can you go with such a detailed queue? I mean, it's like for Escape from Gringotts, from the dragon outside to going in and filing through the lines in
going down in the elevator.
And even the room where it's like where you get your picture taken.
Yeah.
Even that was themed with like desks, of like bankers and stuff.
And even the newspapers that were hanging over the desks had moving pictures on them and stuff.
Yeah, and it just the bathrooms were themed. And every little shop. Nocturne Alley was the best thing ever because it's like you still felt like you were outside even when you were inside. And it just, the shops in there, it's like they didn't need that shop. You know, that shop in Nocturne Alley sold the same, you know, Harry Potter merchandise every other shop sold. You know, they could have just had it as a little, you know, like literally like a aisle, like just little walkthrough thing. But, you know, it's like they put a dark arts shop in there, and it just I could go on and on about everything that's just amazing about this place. I literally never wanted to leave. I was there for Halloween Horror Nights at a park that I'd never been to before.
I had to tell you,
I didn't want to leave.
We're here for Halloween Horror Nights, Nikki. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'm sure if you go look, you'll see nail marks in the wall, which are from Nikki trying to stay in the land.
And it's just even the entrance, you know, with the brick. And it's the brick archway and the noise of the moving bricks.
Yeah,
and
it's really impressive.
And even though it's not directly part of the land, it's still the area, the whole British street outside with the train station, and then they have the night bus out there, and then they have Sirius Black's house, you know, where it's kind of like where, if you've seen the movie where the building like separates and then his house pops in right there in the middle, and it's a different color. You can tell that it's like a magical, like, hidden house, and it just, all those details it just can't be topped, in my opinion. It hasn't been topped yet. Hogsmeade isn't as good, and yeah.
Well, I know that Hogsmeade is probably going to pop up on your list.
Yes.
But you could tell me why, to you, Hogsmeade isn't as good as Diagon Alley when we get there.
Okay.
So you can save that.
Well, yeah, no, that's all I was literally going to say about Hogsmeade right now.
Yeah.
I wasn't going into more detail. But that's it. It was my dorky little dream come true, and I cried when the dragon breathed fire, like ugly tears streaming down my face. And no place has ever done that to me before, so that's why it's my number one.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. See, that's much better and more eloquently said than anything that I could have said.
Oh, it wasn't eloquent, but...
Well, you know what I mean. Like, it's better than anything I could have said for you.
Well, yeah, because it was your number 4.
Makes a lot more sense. Yeah, it's my number 4.
That's why you couldn't say anything better.
Okay, so moving on to our number 3. What is your number 3? 5, 4, 3. Oh, wait, did you give your number?
No.
You said your number 5.
I said my number 5 and I said my number 4.
Yeah, so number 3.
My number 3.
You have it on your phone, don't you? Did you lose your list?
I lost my mental list. Yes, I did.
I thought you had it written down.
No, I had it in my head. And we stopped recording for a few hours.
Would you like me to go then?
Yes,
so that we can so you can remember your list?
Yes.
Okay. So my number 3 is...
Oh, I remembered.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I'm sorry.
Okay, fine, go.
I remembered. Okay, my number 3 is Adventureland.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Now why? Give me the reasons. I want the truth.
Well, okay, so I know I wanted Disneyland to be one of... I knew there was something in there that I wanted to be on my list. And I went through all the lands in my head. It's not Tomorrowland. Fantasyland is great, you know, but it's very, very small, you know?
I can understand that. You didn't think about certain things, did you?
I didn't think about Toontown. Toontown would have been a good one. But
that would have been a really good one.
But like heyday Toontown, not today Toontown.
Mm-hmm.
That can be like a off my list, but what's it called?
A runner-up, but you can talk about runner-ups later.
You are very bossied.
I'm not. I'm just trying to keep a structure.
Critter Country is like little and non-existent.
Critter Country essentially exists for Splash Mountain.
New Orleans Square isn't that big either, and you know it's basically just there because of the Haunted Mansion.
And Pirates.
And Pirates. Still more Haunted Mansion because I kind of consider
Pirates
part of
New Orleans Square was there
Adventureland.
with Pirates before Haunted Mansion was.
Okay. Well, anyway, and then Frontierland? It's cool. But
now that it lost the petting zoo, what does it matter?
Yeah. Adventureland, I think, is still one that it has it all. And a big part of why it's on my number 3, why it's on my list at all, is because I love the treehouse. And I think a lot of the things on my list are things that have interactiveness, you know? And so, like, the treehouse is something fun that's not a ride or a show that I really appreciate.
And even on top of that, if you're going to go bi-coastal with this,
yeah,
you have Tarzan's Treehouse and you have your better version of it, in your opinion. You have
Swiss Family Robinson
Treehouse.
Oh my God, I was
Adventureland and Magic Kingdom.
So happy that I got to go on the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse the way I remembered our treehouse in Disneyland being when I was a kid. I just loved going on that. I dragged you on it.
Oh yeah, you did. And I was happy to do it.
Yeah, and I mean I love Tarzan's treehouse too, but it's no Swiss Family Robinson treehouse in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just love being up there, and it's like it's just fun and exciting, and it's like you get to see great views, and to me it's special, and it's just this fun thing to do. That's sorry. Now I started thinking about Tom Sawyer Island, but that's not a land. That's really super fun.
Marvel Superhero Island, Tom Sawyer's Island. I don't know.
Would you consider it part of Adventureland or Frontierland?
I would probably put it part of Frontierland, even though
because you take.
But the takeoff is in New Orleans Square.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider it its own themed land because it is a themed area.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, Pirates Cove now, like it's still themed, but it's hard because it isn't necessarily a land connected to everything else. It's its own little island.
I guess since it's Pirates Cove now, it's New Orleans Square.
I would consider it a themed land. Yeah, I would consider it, but it's not part of Adventureland. So
no, but anyway, Adventureland is still my number 3.
Very nice. That's a good one.
And Jungle Cruise and Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And the pinball machine. And the good food.
I like how the pinball machine is part of it. I like that. My favorite pinball machine of all time.
Yeah. It's just
Dole Whips.
Dole Whips. It's got so much to offer.
And now Tropical Hideaway.
Too.
So there's a lot of good things that come with Adventureland.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is Ghost Town at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Ghost Town at Knott's Berry Farm. For me, this area carries so much meaning and history for myself, on top of its own history that it deserves the praise. Every season that Knott's celebrates, it not necessarily transforms, but it has a different feel. It has a different emotional connotation to it, if you will. Where during Merry Farm, it's warm, it's inviting, and it feels very much homey. And then during Peanut Celebration, it's fun and vibrant. Same thing with Boysenberry Festival. And to me, it really transforms during Haunt, and the ambiance changes. And to me, the fact that this themed land can evolve through the different seasons says so much.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can't get any better than real old houses that Walter Knott decided to bring over.
Yeah.
Although it may be a little bit different now, there are still signs and stuff that are really old, and they're, these new buildings have been revitalized and stuff, but overall, the impression that had made on this area is still there.
Yeah.
And you have Ghost Rider there, which is one of the best wooden roller coasters in the world. And now you're gonna have the river rafting ride, the new one. Calico River Raft. I forgot the new name, but the new river rafting ride, they're gonna have Bigfoot Rapids.
Is it Cali River Rapids?
Cali River Rapids is from Animal Kingdom.
That's why it's
Calico River
familiar.
It's Calico River Rapids. That's where it is.
That's very similar. Not should have thought about that.
Cali River Rapids and Calico. Calico's been around much longer than that.
Oh, it just sounds very similar.
Anyway, you also have Mystery Lodge.
Uh-huh.
Pony Express.
Birdcage
Theater. You have all the little knick-knack stores, the candy shop, the geode shop. You have, you even have the little museum that has all the Knott's history bits in it. And even on top of that, just the history of the Old West.
Yeah.
Inside that shop, and the saloon shop where you get a beer, you get Boysenberry beer, you could get Boysenberry ice cream. You have the trains. You have Mind Ride and Log Ride, two of the biggest, rides that had such a huge impact on the amusement park industry. Walter Knott helped build those with Bud Hurlbut, and Walt Disney came and looked at those things.
Yeah.
So you have a big chunk of theme park history sitting right in the middle of Southern California. And to me, that's why it takes the number 3. And for me, it affects me a lot because, so much, I love Haunt so much.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the fact that I'm able to sit in the middle of the fog and enjoy that environment, and then during Merry Farm, be able to go to all the little stands with all the food and items to go shop for family, and then during Peanut Celebration with the kites in the trees, because the trees become the kite eating ones and stuff like that. So there's a lot of really good pluses that come with Ghost Town.
Can I add a few things that I love about Ghost Town? Because honestly, I'm ashamed that it's not on my list now. Okay, so what I love about Ghost Town is all the small memorable things, like all the stuff that on someone's first trip you would be sure to take them around to see. Like,
look at this small little thing here. You never knew about this.
Yeah. So
Oh, freaking crap. I didn't even mention it. The guy in the jail cell, you go talk to him. Oh, shoot, what's his name?
Sad-Eye Joe.
Sad-Eye Joe. There
that's
you go.
That. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, all that stuff. Like, the little... kitschy, is that the right word?
Kitschy, yeah.
The little kitschy things that you'd bring someone around to see, like Sad-Eye Joe, and then going around the circle, you would take them to the schoolhouse, and then you would take them to the graveyard. You would have them stand on the grave with the beating heart.
You've mentioned so many things that I even forgot to mention.
Baby rattlers.
Baby
rattlers. You have to take them to Baby Rattlers. The Hitchin' Post.
I'm gonna get so much shit if I don't mention Catawampus.
Of course, the Catawampus.
Catawampus.
Yeah, he moves.
He moves,
and now he has a baby.
Kittywampus.
And then the Hitchin' Post. I mean, 2 weeks before our wedding, you and I went to the Hitchin' Post. We got married.
Got a marriage
and we have our nail rings. I still have my nail ring.
They're literal railroad spikes.
Yeah, they're bent
into a ring.
Yeah, I mean all those things. Like, we have our Knott's Berry Farm marriage license, and I am super proud of that. Like, that is going right in our file in our fireproof safe along with our real wedding certificate.
I'm pretty sure that's legal.
Yes,
so we're good.
So we're married twice.
We're married right under Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
Well, even further than that, you can I forget about that too. Like, that includes Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
And Reflection Lake and everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much to Ghost Town. The robbers on the train, and then you have the big stage in the middle of Calico Square now.
Yeah.
All that stuff. There's so much.
The robbers on the train. It's like, you go on the train, those robbers are going to come by, and even though you've been on the train a million times and they've come by a million times, you can't wait.
Ghost Town Alive. Like, come on. Like, what gets better than that?
And I love all times of year, like the spring and summer times, and even the rest of the year, I just love the decorations and the flowers. One of my favorite parts of Ghost Town is that train that they have just sitting there by the...
Is it Old Betsy? Is that what it says? Old Betsy? I forgot the name of what's on the
by
side.
the blacksmith shop that they just have decorated with flowers or pumpkins or whatever time of year it is. I love that thing. You sit in there, you take a picture.
That's also where Gecko pops out during Haunt. And
yes.
He made me almost fall to the ground.
Yes.
By the way, there's a monster at Haunt called Gecko. It is a long story.
It wasn't an actual gecko.
No. Do you need car insurance?
Yeah, so just stuff like that. In the blacksmith shop, we have a little horseshoe that says N+G. All those little things that we have so many souvenirs of fond memories from Ghost Town.
It's so funny because when you're thinking like, oh, what's my favorite land? You initially think, oh, where are the rides?
Yeah.
Ghost Town isn't about the rides. It's about the pure, unadulterated experience.
You can spend a whole day
being in Ghost Town.
And not going on a single ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to all the stores, experience the shows, experience, the little Peekins. We didn't even mention the Peekins. The Peekins along Main Street of Ghost Town.
Yeah.
And now they opened up the little shooting alley too, the newer version. Get food at Ghost Town Grill.
Oh yeah.
Just there's so much to the experience of going to Ghost Town. And I could rant longer and longer about it, but we have other things on the list.
Yes.
I'm glad that was something you didn't think about that you got to jump in on too.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about it. That totally would have been on my list. Actually, that would have been my number 3. Goodbye, Pandora. Like, honestly, even if I had been to Pandora, Ghost Town trumps Pandora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like,
oh, definitely.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
And if people, I know there's probably people out there who haven't been to Ghost Town who are like, I've been to Pandora. It's pretty great. Like, we might be slightly biased because we're SoCal natives and we've grown up going to Knott's Berry Farm and have had attachment to it, and we also have emotional attachments, which is partially the reason why it's on the list. I had said that at the beginning, like, you know, I'm basing this on my emotional attachments.
Yeah.
But based on the history of it and what it is and the meaning behind it, until you experience Ghost Town in all its glory and through the seasons, you won't fully understand why we're saying that it's probably better than Pandora. And it has nothing to do with the rides.
What other theme park has a hooker leg sticking out of a window?
They have an entire building dedicated to prostitutes. It's Goldie's Place.
And there is a prostitute's leg sticking out of a window.
Mm-hmm.
Pantyhose and all.
Exactly.
And little, like, was it giggles or like woohoo or something?
No, there's no noises.
I thought there was a noise.
Not anymore. It's probably just the gyros going. There should be giggles, though. There isn't. There should be.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. So, we're already to our number 2.
Number 2.
Goodness gracious. This is going fast.
Do you want to go first or me first?
No, you go first. We're going to stay in order.
Okay, I'll go first. I understood that. My number 2.
I'm glad you did. I don't know if anybody else listening understood that, but you did.
He said we want to stay in order, so I go first. My number 2 is Hogsmeade in Florida. Specific.
Okay.
Specific.
Okay. So mine isn't specific, but I also chose Hogsmeade as my number 2.
Okay.
So we could talk about this together.
Yeah, we totally can. And the differences. And I mean, we've talked about the differences on the show. Like, mapping out wise, almost no differences. Except that, you know,
very minor differences.
Yeah, and well, even now, like, Dragon Challenge is...
It's a walkway and a snowman.
Yeah, it is. A walkway and a snowman. And, you know, the spot where Dragon Challenge...
Ollivanders is in a different spot.
Ollivanders is flipped. Ollivanders is on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, the actual, like, layout, pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
I chose Florida's over
based on
ours
view,
because, it's because of the sightline. The Hogsmeade in Florida is kind of on a hill. So... it looks like it should. It looks like...
you can't see a show building.
It looks like a British town, you know, and then up on a hill, up above, is Hogwarts, you know, and there's no buildings or other things taking you out of the moment. Like, you walk into Hogsmeade in Florida and you're like, oh my god, I'm in Hogsmeade, there's Hogwarts. But here, there's other things that are in your line of sight that kind of put Hogwarts into perspective. So you have
Shrek, what was Shrek, but now is Kung Fu Panda, DreamWorks Theater,
pretty much
and Waterworld.
Yeah, you can see Waterworld too.
Well, like, the fireworks go off and they're literally right there. So like, there's no way of ignoring it. You have an atoll right across the way from Hogwarts, which doesn't make too much sense. And I mean, like, vice versa, if you're a Waterworld, you see Hogwarts, and it's like, that doesn't make sense.
Yes, I totally agree with that. But, so that's my reasoning for why I like Florida's more. But and the actual reason why it's my number 2 and why I love the land is just because, like with Diagon Alley, but not quite as much, it's just so immersive. Like, you really feel like you're in the area. But I don't know why, for some reason, in Hogsmeade, I don't feel that quite as much as I do in Diagon Alley. Maybe they really reined it in and perfected it for Diagon Alley.
Probably.
But, like, even, like, the whole Ollivanders thing, the whole experience, it doesn't feel quite... I know, like, logistically they have to do it a certain way to get people into the shows or whatever, but it doesn't feel quite... organic enough for me.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't beat eating at the Three Broomsticks. And even, like, if you're in there, if you're eating in the building, you can see shadows of people and house elves moving up above in the rafters, you know, in, like, the second floor where their rooms would be, because it's an inn. And just everything about just being there is just, it's, don't want to sound like cheesy, but it's magical.
No, you're 100% right, and I think with any theme park land, regardless of whether or not it's Harry Potter themed or not, there is a level of magic that exists.
Yeah.
Because that is what transports you to that world, and that envelops you in it, and it makes you believe it. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what happened. It's what happens here. And the reason why it's my number 2 is because, unlike Diagon Alley, I feel as though... See, I feel opposite. I feel the magic a little bit more. Diagon Alley feels a little bit more showy, where Hogsmeade doesn't necessarily feel showy, and I appreciate that, and it feels a lot more realistic. Not in the sense of like, oh, there's a Wizarding World right in the middle of Southern California. Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying realistic in the sense that once you walk into this land, it feels like the buildings have been there, and not necessarily Hogwarts, but you don't have this big static dragon shooting fire out in the middle of the crowd every 20, 30 minutes.
I do agree with you there.
There's a sense of realism and wonder to it, where you're able to sit down and have a butterbeer and just listen to the incredible John Williams music and immerse yourself in that environment for that short period of time, and just stare at the castle and just imagine yourself there.
Yeah.
And to me, that is so much more than a giant dragon in Nocturne Alley and a train. To me, it means so much more, because there's so many times that you and I have been there, and we just sit down, and can you name a lot of places that we go to where you're happy and content literally doing nothing?
No, and I've said it before, like that spot in the back of the Three Broomsticks with the castle right there, that's my favorite spot.
It's the usual spot. That's where we go.
Yeah, it's my favorite spot in any theme park ever. Like, hands down. Like, that's my favorite. And, like, I do get what you're saying about the staticness of the dragon, because if I do have one problem with Diagon Alley, although I love the dragon because of its grandeur and, like, the impressiveness of it, it does take away the yes, quote-unquote, realisticness of the land.
We understand that it's fake.
Because it's like, oh, yeah, it's obviously a fake dragon. Like, honestly, I probably would have appreciated Diagon Alley a little bit more if the dragon wasn't there. Because, because the dragon's not always there, you know, breathing fire on top of the building.
I don't feel like in Diagon Alley you could just stand there and soak it in as easily.
There is that eating area where they have performers.
Off to the right.
Yeah, where the fountain is.
Yeah, where the Celestina and Warbeck group is that sing over where the awning is. Yeah, that whole area. Yeah.
So they have that area, but yes, it is not as picturesque.
No, and I mean, like, yeah, you could sit over there and that's fine, but even in Hogsmeade, you could still stand under the arch and just soak it all in.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about giant crowds waiting for a dragon or anything like that.
Yeah.
And also on top of it, where we actually disagree, I think that Forbidden Journey is a far superior attraction than Escape from Gringotts on a lot of different respects.
You didn't ride for Forbidden Journey. I wrote it.
The last time we went.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was the baby.
These screens are rough. I do agree with you that I appreciate the practical effects in Forbidden Journey a lot, because, you know, Escape from Gringotts doesn't have that many. It's a lot more screens. I mean, there are practical effects too, but a lot of screens. I went in there at like midday. You know, my eyes had not adjusted, so like the Dementors were amazing. You know, everything.
All the practical stuff.
The Weeping Willow, all the practical stuff was.
Willow.
Oh, I said Weeping Willow. I was weeping.
Watch out, she's gonna cry on you.
I was weeping at the quality of the screens. Oh my gosh, the projections or the screens have not
aged well.
It just like everything seemed fuzzy and slightly out of focus. It really took you off. And I cannot get past Hermione in the middle of those dang spiders.
What are you doing there, Hermione?
What is she doing there? One, she can't apparate inside Hogwarts, so how the hell did she get into the middle of that tree surrounded by giant spiders? It completely takes me out of the moment every single time. If you want any sort of realistic story, don't stick Hermione in the tree.
That is a very nerdy problem, But I respect that problem. It doesn't bother me that much.
Bothers me so much.
See, like, I understand that there's a deterioration of the quality of the projections, but that doesn't deny the overall quality of the attraction in how it's presented.
Yeah.
I feel like that still is better than Escape from Gringotts. As much as I love the roller coaster aspect, you know, the tilting down, the dropping down, the spinning, and the screens, and the dragon, like, all that cool stuff. For me, it's all null and void when you have so many, like you mentioned, so many practical effects mixed in with the screens. And you have the dragon shooting its fire at you. You have the Dementors. You have the spiders. You have the Whomping Willow. You have even like swooping into Slytherin's mouth. You know, that big cave where all the skeletons are.
Yeah.
There's so many cool little moments in that attraction to me. And then on top of that, I think that the line for Forbidden Journey is way better than Escape from Gringotts. You know, walking through Hogwarts Castle, going through the dark arts classroom and having it snow. You know, having Professor Dumbledore talk to you from his little office from up above, or even having like Ron and Hermione and Harry like in the invisibility cloak and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then the Gryffindor common room.
The Gryffindor common room. Just there's so many little detailed aspects, and then the sorting hat on top of that.
Yeah, it makes you want to walk through the line. Like I went through the single rider queue the last time I went on, and I was really disappointed. Even the talking pictures, that, like every little detail is great about the quew. It's a little bit too dark because you ran into a pole and you almost killed yourself.
I almost died.
Yeah, you did. Hogwarts almost killed a guy. But
Anyway,
so the queue is amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, slightly better than Escape to Gringotts queue, except I do love that first room.
Escape from Gringotts.
Stop. It doesn't matter.
I'm just saying.
Okay. The practical effects are great, but all that I can base it off of is which ride did I leave with a bigger smile on my face?
Escape from Gringotts.
Escape from Gringotts. And at the end of the day, regardless of everything else that you add up or say, oh, well, these practical effects are better, this is better, I had a better time overall. I was more satisfied with my experience on Escape from Gringotts. So that's all I can base it on. Did I say it wrong again?
You said escape.
I was like, what are you going to tell me? It's Escape the Gringotts now? It's like, what the hell? I have wanted to drop the F-bomb like 10 times so far this episode, and I am not a very cursy person, so that tells you what type of mood I'm in.
I want to curse at you.
I do.
Well, I'm
do you want an explicit rating on this game?
I do not.
You're headed there.
I don't know if we're allowed one F-bomb per episode like a PG-13 movie, but let's not broach that at all.
Every time I say frickin', you should just bleep it.
I'm just going to bleep random crap and make it sound like you're saying terrible things.
Yeah. Frigny, frick, fig. The baby's awake.
Uh-oh. So the baby is awake.
On
totally
your lap.
Fine. She's on my lap, so she's going to be here for the rest of the episode. Don't look at me like that. So, runners up for me for before I reveal my number one, because I rudely interrupted you early on and revealed your number one.
Rude.
Sorry. My runners up for this episode would be Adventureland. Adventureland for me is one of my runners up. I would say that Toontown is a runner-up.
I would say Toontown would be one of mine too. My epiphany earlier in the episode, I would say Toontown also.
And Port of Entry at Islands of Adventure. I actually really, really like the entry to Islands of Adventure.
Yeah, that's a great one.
The bridge and the quote, and then they also have the little photo ops. It just feels like a real small port town that you're walking into. I only wish that they had real characters walking around or something that felt like they lived there or something.
That would be fun.
You know how like they have the characters at Universal Studios where they have like the guy dressed as a woman and then the other woman, they're both New Yorkers yelling at people. I wish it was like that.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I know that Lee and Tracy might be a little mad at me because that's my runner-up and not on my actual list. And that's like one of their favorites ever. Sorry!
Do you like anything at California Adventure? Like, well, you kind of hate Pixar Pier. But
No.
like, if you take away the fact that you never think it should have been turned into Pixar Pier, say if it had always been Pixar Pier?
Nothing there before or after would have.
No, not good enough.
No.
Okay.
Not currently or before. Nothing on my list currently would be underneath that.
I like the area behind the rapids.
Oh, so like the wilderness area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice area. I like
the wilderness area. Like
it's
everything.
It's the Grizzly Peak Airfield.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like basically everything from the Eureka mining wheel to Soarin'. Everything in between there. I love all that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my runners up for my top 5 favorite themed lands. Can you guess what my number 1 is? I don't think you can. Can you guess?
Is it in California?
Yes. Erin, can you guess? No. The blank stare means no. She's staring at me with a blank stare. That's probably because she doesn't speak English yet.
Is it in any of the 3 that we go to a lot? Any of the 3 parks? Universal, Knott's, or Disneyland?
Why do you keep saying California Adventure?
I don't know.
Yeah, yes it is.
It's in one of those? Give me a second.
You don't have a second. 3, 2.
Is it the tram
1.
tour? Oh, it's Simpsons.
Why would that be my number 1?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of...
That is an interesting area, but no, that is not... No, it's not my number 1.
Okay, what is it?
Why would it be Simpsons?
I don't know.
Not that Simpsons is bad. It's just, why would that be Simpsons? Just sounds so... Oh, Simpsons! like, clearly that's what it is. Oh, you know what, Nikki? You're right.
Well, I was just trying to think of another themed area that I hadn't thought of before.
Well, you said it already today.
It's the tram tour? What did I say?
For me, my number 1 is Fantasyland.
Oh.
So for me, I know that you said like Fantasyland to you was like
it's okay,
kind of blah.
Yeah.
For me, there's a lot of reasons behind what is Erin making faces?
She yawned, but just the way she yawned, she'll look like an evil villain.
She probably is.
Like it was very grimacy.
You can't hear that.
It was funny.
But anyway, Fantasyland to me, I think there's a lot of meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up loving theme parks, I think Fantasyland had a really, really big impact on me.
Okay.
And being a kid, and I know I mentioned this on the show before, like riding Peter Pan with my dad and not understanding that the floor was like maybe 5 feet below us.
Yeah.
Thinking it was like a drop into darkness forever. Not understanding the concept of that. Like it actually making me believe that we're flying into Neverland, above London, all that stuff. Actually believing it and being scared of Monstro inside of Pinocchio's Daring Journey.
Yeah.
And being deathly scared of the evil witch turning around in Snow White's Scary Adventure. Yeah. And going through the castle for the castle walkthrough and having that even be revitalized now.
Yeah.
And having Storybook Land canal boats, having the Casey Jr. Train, being able to ride that.
Uh-huh.
The carousel, Mr. Toad's one of my favorite dark rides ever. The Matterhorn bobsleds, having so many memories of going that as a kid. Alice in Wonderland, Teacups, Small World. And so much history being there as well. After talking to Rolly Crump, my love for Fantasyland grew even more, having talked to him about the history and the building process of Small World.
Yeah.
From the World's Fair to Fantasyland and how it's changed. And to me, the vision of Walt Disney can be encapsulated into Fantasyland. The world of fantasy coming to life. And that's what every single themed land is.
Yeah.
The world of fantasy coming to life. So, I mean, how much better can you get with When You Wish Upon a Star? And then the castle, the fireworks outside with Walt's statue in the front? Come on.
Well, that's not Fantasyland.
That all counts as it to me.
Walt's
it
statue.
Encapsulates it. Mm-mm. It counts. It's part of it. We also got engaged, technically, in Fantasyland.
Technically, no.
It's the castle.
No, it was in the hub.
The castle.
It was in the hub.
It's the castle. Just saying, castle's part of Fantasyland. That whole sidewalk area and the bridge, where it happened. is Fantasyland.
We weren't on the bridge. We were on the bridge.
Oh, stop it. Give it to me.
Okay, I give it to you. Yes, it holds fond memories for me. I think it will hold even fonder memories once we take Erin.
Yes.
She's smiling at me right now.
Yes, she is.
And I agree that's a very special place. I don't have as many fond childhood memories of it as you do for some reason.
That's why I chose it as a separate list.
Well, I didn't go a lot as like a kid. I went as like a preteen teenager kid. So we didn't spend a lot of time in Fantasyland.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was it was an impressionable young child.
Yeah. So I can see how it could hold the special memories for you. And I do agree that it's a very quaint little area.
And I also really like how it feels like this small European village.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate that they got rid of, the dance floor area with all that stuff, but now that they have that princess, what is it? Princess Festival?
The Fantasy Fair area?
Fantasy Fair. There you go. The Fantasy Fair. I actually really like the Fantasy Fair.
I actually really like it too. Like that stage.
Really cute.
The stage where they do those like quick little shows.
And then they have the little Figaro animatronic up in the window with the little bird.
Yeah. And the Rapunzel statue that's in the middle at night, her hair glows.
Yeah.
It's cute.
And then all the meet and greet,
the meet and greet is area.
All the princesses.
It's great because honestly, the princesses were like, you never knew where to find them. You'd be
they were
lucky
just all over the place.
if you caught Aurora somewhere, and it gave a place for kids to be guaranteed. Little girls dressed up in their dresses, a guaranteed spot. They will see a princess.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that as a kid running around trying to find a princess and never seeing one. So I appreciate that a lot. So I like the Fantasy Fair area. I think it's a good addition.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why Fantasyland is my number one. To me, like I had said, so much emotional attachment to it, so much history behind it, and to me, the reason why a lot of places exist. It's the fantasy coming to life.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for something like that, who knows what would have happened. I'm sure we would see something like a Wizarding World eventually, or I'm sure we would have seen it, but who knows if it would have been the same if we didn't have something like a Fantasyland, or even going even further behind that to my runner-up, like an Adventureland. Or a Toontown.
Well, we just have to straight up say it. Without Disneyland, we wouldn't have anything.
Well, without Knott's Berry Farm and a lot of other earlier theme parks,
without
we wouldn't have Disneyland the way it was.
Without Disneyland, who knows if Knott's Berry Farm even would have stayed around as long as it did.
Who knows? We don't know that.
There's no way to know.
Answer.
But it's like, I think the competition was good for it.
I mean, competition's always going to be great for the industry.
So who knows? Without Disneyland, maybe Walter Knott was like, okay, that was fun. Let's do something else. Who knows?
Yes.
So, or maybe without Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm would have taken off and been the ruler of the universe. Who knows?
The ruler of the universe, people.
Let's be real here. Disney rules the universe.
They just bought Fox. I'm sure they have the Infinity Gauntlet hidden somewhere. They're just waiting to snap their fingers. I think.
So yeah. Well, no, they're not going to snap their fingers.
They would lose all their money.
They would lose half of their moviegoers.
Yeah, but then again, all that money's not owned by anybody at that point. Then they could just take it for themselves.
What would happen to all the money of those people that disappeared?
You take it.
Oh,
that's right, Aaron. You take the money for yourself.
Okay, we're going off the rails here because of the baby.
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, no. We were off the rails way before
we're
the baby arrived. So those are our lists. And I hope you enjoyed our list and agreed with some and disagreed with other. If you have a land or an area that you were like screaming at us to say and we never said, let us know. Because I'm sure everyone has a different opinion on this.
Exactly. And if you want to reach out to us on social media and tell us those lands, make sure you find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Or if you want to make an entire video on YouTube, I guess you could, but I think it would be a little bit easier just to make a post on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Yeah. You can look us up on any one of those platforms as Theme Park Duo. And if you want to reach us via email, you can always email us at
themeparkduo@gmail.com. Still accepting cat videos.
Oh, we've also received a 5-star written review.
We have.
From Dillo Diz. So we want to give a huge shout out to Dillo Diz for leaving that 5-star written review. Very, very kind of you. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure you head on over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star written review. We'll give you a shout out here on the show. And obviously, thank you for the review. And if you obviously, you got me off track. Thank you very much, child. It helps us in the standings clearly, and it makes it easier for everybody to find us and enjoy us like you are right now.
And it makes us feel good.
It puts a smile on my face.
Warm and fuzzies.
Warm and fuzzies all the time. Anyway, Aaron, are you trying to do the outro? Okay, if you're
now
not, then
you have nothing to say.
Let Daddy do the outro. Okay, we're good now. Thank you, everybody, again for listening to this wonderful episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. And until next time, there's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. See ya.
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye.